Yo, what to do? It's Mac1, and just like anything I do, I'm bringing you the best heavy guide out on YouTube right now. This is the most advanced one, so let's get straight into it. Alright, so this guide is definitely meant for more advanced users, but beginners are also very welcome. You're gonna learn way more. First, we're gonna be talking about your loadout, and the weapons and the specializations and the gadgets that you should be rocking. Then we'll get straight into techs for all the guns, for the gadgets. Then we'll talk about winch and winch techs and cash out manipulation. At the end of it all, I'm gonna be teaching you positioning, and last but not least, we'll have general tips. Alright, so before we hop in straight into the loadout, just know that I do have timestamps below for your relevant parts, so feel free to skip to them. But yeah, starting with the weapons. If you're serious, you only have three choices. You have the SA-1216, you have the Shak 50, and at the end of it all, you have the BFR Titan. For the SA, your base TTK on the light is 0.63 seconds. Your base TTK for the medium is 0.95 seconds. And last but not least, for the heavy, the TTK is 1.75 seconds. Your tactical reload sits at 2.35 seconds. Your empty reloads sits at 3.25 seconds. When should you be running the SA? You should be running the SA when you have three things down. First is a coordinated team. If you have a team that does not know how to play around your SA, it's not that good. You're gonna be pushing in alone a lot of the times. Your team is gonna be behind you, not there to support you, and you will get dropped. For that situation, a Shak is a way better option that I will talk about later. Second thing is, you want to have a medium that is constantly healing you. If you are pushing an enemy heavy that has a medium that is heal botting him, it does not matter how good of a heavy you are, you will lose that fight 10 out of 10 times. The healing plus heavy SA is an insane combo that you should be running, so make sure you have a medium that's healing you. For the third thing, when you should be running SA is when your teammates are going full range. For example, when your medium has the repeater and your light has the ARN, you want to go SA to have some close range fighting capabilities. It's gonna allow your team to be more diverse, and it's just an overall very good combination. Now I will be getting into the SA tech to lower down the TTK. For the light, you want to shoot the light twice and then melee him for an almost insta kill, just like this. For the medium, it's very similar, but now you winch him, you shoot him 3 times, and then you melee. If he's not dead after the melee, you shoot him again. Last but not least, for the heavy, it is a bit different. So what you do for the heavy is you winch him, you shoot him twice, you melee in between the 2 shots, you shoot him twice again, and then you finish off with the last melee. That's how you 4-shot a heavy. Alright, so moving on to the Shak. Can't lie, Shak is my personal favorite. I always rock this gun when I'm stacking with randoms or people that I don't usually play with. First, let's go by the baseline statistic. The TTK for the light is 0.57 seconds to the body. For the medium is 1.14 seconds to the body. Last but not least, for the heavy, the TTK is 1.57 seconds. The empty reload time is 3.2 seconds, and the tactical reload is 2.4 seconds. So now, when do you want to be running the Shak? First, you want to be running the Shak when you have an uncoordinated team. What do I mean by that? People you don't usually play with, even if you're solo queuing. This is the gun. The range that the Shak provides will help you stay alive way more. You'll be able to play for yourself. You'll be able to take rooftops and deny cash outs from further away, not making you fully commit to the point. It's an all-around great weapon if you want to play a bit solo and split from the team. Compared to the SA, the Shak is way more of a solo queue weapon. Second time when you want to be running the Shak is on specific maps, such as Monaco or Las Vegas Sandstorm. You will find yourself in need of range in those maps, so I do recommend switching to something like the Shak, and personal preference you can switch to BFR. Now let's get into the Shak tech for lowering the TTK for all classes. So starting with the light, what you want to do when you winch the light, you want to shoot him 4 times and then you want to quick melee. This will allow you to get an almost insta kill just like this. It's insanely quick and very good for stressful situations or when you are low. Moving on to the medium is normally a 9-shot to the body, but you can make this a 7-shot. If you winch them, you shoot them 7 times and then you melee at the end. I actually don't recommend you do this every time because at this point it's getting hard to track every single shot that you shot, especially in chaotic situations. But if you still want to do it, this is how you do it. Just like that. Last but not least, we have the heavy, and once again, usually it's a 12-shot to the body, but what I recommend you do for heavy is when you winch them, you just look at their health, and once it's low, then you melee, because at this point you will not be able to track how many shots you have shot. Another thing before I show you that, what I really recommend you do is when you winch the heavy or even a medium or a light, you start immediately strafing left or right. This will allow you to get actually behind the enemy, giving you absolutely free damage on them without them shooting back. So now I will implement both things. just like that. Another thing with the Shak, the HS multiplier is absolutely insane. It's bonkers. When you shoot the head, you can fry a light quicker than you could ever fry him with the SA. Look at this. Insane. He's gone. Same with the medium. The headshot multiplier is insane. Same for the heavy. I mean, you're frying these guys. Headshots will even allow you to fry a heavy at this range. I mean, talk about having range on heavy and an insane gun. Alright, so the last weapon that's actually viable for heavy high rank is the BFR Titan. The BFR Titan has a TTK for the light of 0.8 seconds. It has the TTK for a medium of 1.6 seconds and a TTK for the heavy of 2.4 seconds. The empty reload on this gun is insanely slow. It takes 5.2 seconds to completely reload your gun. I actually do not like the BFR for heavy, and it's just because of the base principle of how heavy should be used. Heavy has a couple of things. The heavy has health pool of 350 HP and the slowest region of 10 seconds. Now when you look at those stats, you can clearly see what heavy is good at. Heavy is good at brawling. Heavy is good at jumping into the fire and starting fighting from there, utilizing his full HP without the need to regen. What BFR forces you to do, it forces you to play on your regen, or a medium that's healing you, or having a gadget such as the heal ball healing you. When you pick a long range fight with the BFR, and let's say you both deal the same amount of damage, the light or the medium on the enemy team will be able to fully push you when he's fully regen while you're still not even starting your regen. Therefore, he will commit to you with full HP when you're half HP. And especially with the single fire gun that you have here, you're not gonna be able to brawl your way out unless you hit some crazy headshots and every single shot after that. If you can pull it off, by all means go do it, but it's just an unreliable weapon for me. And that's why I actually recommend you either use the Shak or the SA instead of the BFR, because it will give you just way more brawling capability and it will let you survive for longer. However, if you still decide to run the BFR Titan in your matches, what you need is a crazy team. If your teammates are not dealing damage and you're the only one actually delivering the damage, you will run out of bullets eventually. And when you run out of bullets, you will die. The enemy team will pick you off. Reload is insanely slow, so what you need is your teammates that are supporting you. You can combine it with a medium who's running repeater, and then you can basically one-shot people, and that's great. But you both need to be hitting your shots and you both need to be playing together, shooting at the same enemies. Moving into the BFR Tech, I'm not actually an expert on BFR, but I do know some things. First thing is, whenever you winch anybody, what you want to do is basically an upside down L. You go a bit towards the right and the high, and then you turn a bit to the left, and that will cause an immediate headshot on all classes. That's how you do it. For the specialization, you really only have one option, two options at best. You go mesh or charge and slam. Keep in mind, this is all for rank. If you're seriously trying to rank up, these two, you can rank up, but they will not help you rank up. Then we have the Goo Gun. The Goo Gun has a very high skill floor. That means you have to invest a lot of time to learn it. An actually coordinated team that knows how to play around your Goo Gun and empower you to use it. The specialization that you should be running is Winch. This is OP. It's been nerfed to the ground. Well, not to the ground obviously, because it's still OP, but it's been getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, and it's still the highest pick specialization for heavy. Let's just get the boring statistics out of the way. First, it has a max range of 12 meters. You can actually go at the end of 12 meters as well. It's still gonna work. If you miss the winch, the cooldown has been up to 10 seconds. If you winch, I don't know, like a flower pot or your team's totem, then the cooldown is 14 seconds. And if you winch the cash out, it's a total of 18 seconds. What I recommend is, if you miss your winch, tell your team to wait. Just wait for that recharge. Do not push in without your winch. The winch is basically a free kill if you play it right. So make sure you drop a subscribe, because your boy is uploading every week now. Okay, let's get back into the video. Alright, so starting with how to maximize your pull distance with winch. You always aim at the very bottom of the cache. You make sure that it's exactly at 12 meters. If it's at 12 meters, the power is like doubled or tripled. You winch at the bottom and you don't even go back. You don't go left and you don't go right. All you do is you go forward, and you can even jump. 12 meters, boom. I mean, look at the way it's flying. The next tip for winch, if there's a doorway but you still want to angle the winch to either go more towards the right or towards the left, you can winch, turn left or right that you want it to go, strafe that way, and it will actually turn, just like this. Boom. And I still made sure to go forward as I was strafing. Alright, the next tip for winch is actually, if you have the cash out station in any type of room that has any type of window, you can always get the cash out with 100% success rate. This is how you do it. You stand on the windowsill, yeah? You aim at the bottom of the cache. Once you pull it, you jump and you go backwards. This is how you do it. and you will do it perfectly every single time if you jump backwards and just drop out the window. Also, if you're standing on any type of height with about this much room between the cache, it can be even less, it can be more, depends how you actually do this jump. The earlier you jump, the higher it's gonna go. The later you jump, the more further and not as high it's gonna go. This is how you do it. Bottle flip ass cache jump. Even from this situation, you can still get it. Alright, so going into your gadgets, these are the gadgets that you should be running. You should be running the C4, the RPG, and the dome shield. You can exchange some of these gadgets to like a healing emitter or a barricade if it suits your specific playstyle, but full on meta, this is it. And this is what I will be talking about today. Starting with the C4. The C4 has a base damage of 155 for a direct hit. That means it has to be perfectly below the enemy. If it's anywhere around here, here, or here, it will not deal the max amount of damage. Only now will it insta-kill a light. Another C4 tech that you need to know is the combination of C4 with the RPG. RPG deals damage of 100 plus the C4, that's a total of 255. If you land a direct hit on the C4 with the RPG with close proximity to the enemies like this, you will insta-kill both enemies. And if you don't, you shoot them once from 500 meters away and you will kill them. How do you use the C4 in game? In game, you need to use the C4 mainly for denies. You can use it offensively as well, for example when you're getting chased, but I will get into that in my general tip section, which is later in the video. Right now, all you need to know is that C4 main use case is for stalling objective steals. When you place it on the cache out and you drop the cache, if the enemies are not surfing the cache, you will deny the steal from far away. That is the main use case, and what a lot of pro teams do and what my team does is we use the C4 for kiting. I will have a specific video for kiting out later. Moving on with the C4 tech. When you place it on the cache out, it does not matter where you have it, except if you have it at the very top, it will always drop the cache down the floor. So you can have it on any side. When you have two C4s, make sure you place them on the same side. If you place them on different sides, when you blow the C4 up, it will not deal full damage because they can only steal from one side. So you have to throw it on the side that you think they're the most likely to steal from. Also, another tip with the C4, if you actually buy the dynamite skin, the C4 will appear smaller, so it's a 600 investment if you're ultra sweaty. The cooldown between the two C4s is 30 seconds. What you can also do with the C4 is even before you get to your point, you can throw the C4 on the box and carry it together. While you're doing this, the total cooldown of 30 seconds for the C4 will be fully recharged and you'll be able to throw two at the same time once you get to the cash out station. Alright, so the next gadget that we'll be talking about is the RPG. RPG has been getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and is still the top 3 most picked gadgets, and there's a reason for that. First pro tip is you obviously use it for entry damage. It can be paired very well with a medium jump pad. You take the jump pad, you aim at the RPG, and another pro tip that I'll give you when doing this is actually take your time to find the best position to shoot the RPG. Don't just shoot the first enemy you see. If you see an enemy that's closer right here, but behind them are the 2 other enemies bundled together, shoot them. It will deal more damage and put the fight in your favor. Next thing that you should know with the RPG, pro tip, you should never waste it. I mean, the amount of times that I've seen heavies shoot an RPG into nowhere and not follow up on the kill is insane. It's a waste. You only use the RPG if you have to. For example, if I shoot this enemy, I'm gonna be chasing him down, or my teammate is gonna be chasing him down, because if not, then the RPG has been wasted. It's a very straightforward tip, but just hold your horses, don't shoot it too early, and make sure it's utilized pretty well. The next tip for the RPG, even though I just said don't waste it, it's not a waste, but sometimes you need to open up walls and floors to deny the cash out if you don't have a direct angle on it in time. You usually should use the C4 for this. However, it takes like 3 to 4 seconds for it to actually detonate, which will cost you those precious seconds when they're stealing. I've actually done this against Team Secret in the close walls. Roll the clip.
That if they do head over towards A, they're ready for that early rotate. Ooh, nice little, you don't defib the box, you tap it. Oh, but there's the winch and the helix gone straight down as the burst damage.
Alright, so the next gadget that we will be talking about is Dome. It lasts for 5 seconds, the cooldown is 30 seconds, and you can use it in so many ways. First thing you should know about using Dome, do not waste it. Only throw Dome if you know that the enemies are engaging you or that you are going to be engaging the enemies 100%. If you waste Dome, you will be at a huge disadvantage, because if the enemy heavy domes and uses it properly, you're pretty cooked. The next tip for Dome is when your teammates are actually stealing the point, you need to wait and you know that the enemies are at least 2 seconds away from the point, you need to wait at least 2 seconds to throw the dome. If you do this, the dome will cover your teammate that's stealing for the rest of the cash out, which is a great way for you to play dome. The cash out is 7 seconds and the dome lasts for 5. In the final round, the cash out steal is 6 seconds, so make sure you utilize that knowledge. Next, you can use dome to protect you when you're taking jump pads into the point. For example, that one insanely OP defense spot on Skyway Stadium, when you're trying to take the jump pad from Forest, you will get killed. So you can use this trick to actually cross if they don't glitch you. This is how you do it. You have to throw it in front of the jump pad. If you throw it on the jump pad, it will not activate in time. And you just take it in peace. They're shooting, you can shoot them back even. Alright, last but not least, the pro tip for dome is when you're actually defending a point and there's a quarter left or even less than a quarter, but you know that the enemies will be forced to go in for the steal, you throw the dome at your own cache. This will prevent any enemy domes for actually entering the area and they will have to steal in your dome unprotected. This will give you a huge advantage when trying to shoot them. I've actually created this strat, so shout out me. Alright, so when it comes to positioning, the first tip that I will give you is always stay in your effective range when you have the heavy weapon, depending on your weapon. If you have DSA, make sure you're hugging all the walls when you're moving around. You know, keep everything as close range as possible. For Shak, everything over here, I would say, is my effective range. You don't really want to be peeking or fighting or dueling anybody at this range right here, because at this range the medium will out DPS you. At about this range you can peek anything as long as you hit all your shots. So make sure you keep in mind the weapon that you have and the position and the range that you're fighting at. Alright, moving on to the second tip is actually when you're holding long ranges, you don't want to be fighting that. Your regen is too slow for you to actually be peeking long ranges and waiting for your regen. They'll be able to push up fully by then and you won't be full HP. So for example, if my teammate is holding hospital from here, I'm not really going to be peeking anybody here if I have DSA or the Shak. If I have the BFR, it's acceptable. But now if I'm running the Shak or DSA, I would have to wait until they're about here to actually peek. So my teammate could give me a jump pad or just call out that I need to drop. I would drop and wipe out the entire enemy team. The next tip, you always want to play off the damage that has been done by your teammate. If I have a medium, for example, that is rocking the repeater and that is hitting his shots, I want him to call it out when I should push and exactly where I should push and how low the enemies are. For example, if he gets a couple of headshots off on the heavy, I know that my team is now at an advantage. So then I would wait here until the call, then push in straight with an RPG or anything to make my entry as quick as possible. Every time you're taking a big zip or you're taking a jump arrow or doing any type of entry, you always want to be the first one to go there. What this will allow you to do is your 350 HP, you will sponge up all the damage, allowing your teammates to not take any. The more you have on your team, the better it is. So they will wait for me, I will fight, and then we'll cross. The next positioning tip that I can give you about heavy is when you're defending a cache out, you never want to be too far away from the cache. Basically, you want to keep yourself at range with the weapon that you have in order to be able to basically deny it at all times. Anytime they steal, you're able to deny. If you're not able to do this as a heavy, you are not playing your heavy role correctly. If you have SA, this is more difficult without fully engaging, but for weapons such as the BFR and the Shak, sticking around these type of distances and these type of windows would be good enough for a deny. If they actually goo or do something else, you can C4 RPG to break the goo, and don't be afraid to actually let them steal, because once they steal, they're most likely gonna be all bundled together in the open and you can easily retake that point. When actually defending a cache out, you never want to be winching the opponent that is stealing. You always want to winch the box. This will allow you to reposition without taking too much damage. If you winch the guy that's stealing, you will be forced to fight him, or if you decide to turn away, he will get damage off of you. So always make sure you winch the box. Also, it works towards repositioning the box, therefore they have to change their approach, which can also lead to them making more mistakes. The only time that you actually want to be winching the guy that's stealing is when it's very close to being done. For example, 1 or 2 seconds left, I'd say 1, 2, you can still winch the box. At 1, you want to winch the person that's stealing. Okay, so moving on to the next tip. Let's say my team has all took the zip line, we landed here and we started fighting a full team that's right here. You shoot and you get their medium to half HP, and then you can see that the medium dropped down, he fully ran away from the fight. You should not go chasing because you don't have the speed advantage. What you should do is focus on the 2v3 with your team. You clean up the 2 enemies that are left here, and then you can stay on bodies, wait for the medium to pull up for a res. Basically, you won the fight. Don't chase as a heavy, make this a habit. You should be able to kill them if you chase, but it's a better choice not to and rather stick to 2v3 with your teammates. Another tip for heavy is you really need to be listening to your teammates' calls. What you want to do is most of the time split up the enemy team. When the enemy team is split up, you should be able to confidently go in and take the one with the guy that's split up. For example, if my medium is here and my light is somewhere there fighting, right, and I'm just chilling over here, and they tell me that, for example, a medium was hit once and he split over here and the rest of his team are on top, that's my cue to drop in, winch the medium and finish him off, making it a 2v3, already turning the fight in our favor. Another thing you have to keep in mind when doing this, you should be able to confidently win your 1v1s against any class, even other enemy heavies. If you cannot do this, you need to get better mechanically. Once you're able to do this, then you can actually start playing strats. So the next very important thing for positioning with heavy is you always need to know exactly what and what you cannot commit to depending on the health that you have. For example, if I'm full health and there's an entire enemy team behind this door, I would feel free to just go in, bubble and go ham. But if I'm half HP, I would not do it. Even though I know I could probably drop a couple of them, I'm not gonna do it. Just wait it out and make sure you're full HP. The only exception for this is if you're fighting and the enemies out there are not full HP and your teammates as well are not full HP. So to turn the fight in your favor, you would sacrifice yourself. You know you would die here, but if you believe in yourself that you can kill at least one or two, or kill one and leave the other one at exactly 1 HP, you do make the sacrifice and you go in and you go ham. Another great tip for heavy, do not be afraid to actually flank your enemies. If you have two teammates that are fighting down here, right, and they're shooting at somebody, let's say in here, your teammates are fighting here and they're shooting somebody in there, do not be afraid to go all the way from the side, open it up and then go and ham like that. What else you could even do in a situation like that when your teammates are fighting below, shooting at people that are below here? You could either open up this thing with the C4 even way further back there to get a full flank, or just do an unexpected push like this, get behind the enemy lines, winch one and turn the whole fight in your favor. And to wrap up the positioning for heavy, biggest tip that I can give you is think of yourself as the tip of a spear. When you go in with purpose. It's not easy to retract a spear like a sword. You cannot keep swinging. You do one meaningful swing and then you're out. One meaningful swing and then you're out. You don't back in, only in very specific situations. Think of your light and your medium as arrows and you the spear. They shoot around and you play off them and they play off you. Basically, when playing heavy, you need great coordination and just overall teammates that can enable you to do the max amount of damage possible. When you're actually behind an enemy in this situation, you flank them when they're fighting somebody else over there. Do not winch them first. Get some shots off and then winch, because as soon as you winch, they will know you're there. So just like this. The next general tip is very simple. As I've explained before, heavy is the best at brawling. So staying inside, close quarters, you don't want to be peeking long range. Just leave that to your medium and your light. If you're losing due to long range casualties, you need to get a better team. If your light and your medium are not able to win at long ranges to be in the enemy team, it's not going to turn out good for you even if you're the best heavy in the world. But what you need to be focusing on is the close quarters combat. That's a big tip that I can give you as a heavy. Forget about the long range, stay inside. Another thing with heavy, you have to be patient. If you're not patient and you're going head in into all teams, into all fights, you're not gonna do well. Even if there's somebody close here, right? But then you can see they're heavy pushing up. For example, there was a life here and you know if you drop, you'll probably kill him. But you see a heavy zipping up, just wait. Wait for your teammates to get a little bit closer. Maybe the heavy will continue taking the zip, then you can focus on the heavy. Don't just ape any fight that you know you can win, because you never know what will happen next. Make sure you wait, you stay patient, and you go in for the attacks that are actually gonna succeed most of the time. Consistency is key in this game. With the amount of RNG and the amount of random things that can happen in this game, you want to stay consistent. That's how you will get ahead of the curve. Another massive general tip for heavy is to have insane confidence. If you do not have confidence in this game, you will not succeed. You will not do well. You need to be able to go in to be at the front line of fighting of your team. You are the center block, and if you fall, the whole team goes at a huge disadvantage, way more if a light would fall, for example. You can turn the tides. It's up to you as a heavy to turn the tide of the match and to turn the tide of the fight. If you're not confident enough, you will not succeed. And if your confidence is low, go Kovacs or go TDM until you're confident enough to actually ape people. That's a huge tip that I can give you that a lot of people sleep on. Another great general tip for heavy, and this is also if you're ultra sweaty, you don't actually want to be rocking any big skins such as like the monkey, the Bigfoot, or even the muscly guy on heavy. You actually want to be rocking the base, the default model, and you want to be rocking skins that are actually slick to your body that lower your visual hitbox. For example, this is a great skin that I came up with. Also, the camo helps. A lot of people actually complain that they can't see me when I play with this skin. It's just an extra general tip that I can give you guys. Another massive general tip that I want to add to the list is actually when you're fighting enemies, you want your medium, if he's running heal beam of course, you want your medium and even your light with the heal gun to call out when they are healing you. If they are healing you, you can commit to way more fights, way more. When they're healing you, you can go in deep, you don't have to turn around, you don't have to worry about cover because you are getting healed. So keep that in mind as well. If you're getting double healed and you're hitting all your shots, especially with a gun such as NSA, you're gonna be mowing down teams, and that's just a fact. When you're playing for drops, with a double C4, you can make a double drop. So what this means is it drops one time, and then I got another C4 here, it will drop another time. When you make a double drop, you don't actually want to be at the very bottom of where it's gonna drop. You want to be on the middle floor so that you're still above the cash out, but you're not on the cash out floor originally. So this is how we do it. And then you would fight from here. You're able to deny the cash. You can even winch it up back to your floor and deny it again. If the building does have 4 floors, you can make it a triple drop instead of a double drop if you have an RPG as well. So keep that in mind. When you are left in a clutch position, for example 1v3, right, and you see a light or a medium rushing you and you know there's still enemies behind you like the rest of their team, you don't actually want to winch the first person you see. In a clutch scenario, you need to kill the first person without winch. If you do that, the second person more than likely is going to be right next to you again, pushing up on his teammate. Then you winch that guy. You kill that guy, and then depending on what gadgets you have, you play around that to finish up the last kill. The first kill should be no winch, second kill should be winch, which is a guaranteed kill, and the third is always a gamble. But if you play the gamble right, you will clutch the 1v3s. It's not easy though, keep that in mind. It's very difficult. Another massive thing, when you're actually defending a cash out, let's say, and your teammates are dying, one died here and one died here, but there's only this much left of the cash, bait them. Let them do whatever they want to do. You know that you can deny with winch. They go, you deny one time, you winch the cash out, and you save the entire game, even if your teammates died. And that's how you play heavy. Alright, so that was it for the heavy guide that I got for you today. I do hope that you learned a lot. You can implement most of the things that I've taught you. If you do so, I promise you that your rank, your skill is exponentially gonna increase, man. I congratulate you on clicking on this video because you're a real one. And come on, bro, I'll see you in the arena. Peace out, guys.